welcome to Kriveda, a holistic wellness practice rooted in the timeless principles of Ayurveda. My name is Kriti. I'm the founder of Kriveda and a national board certified health and wellness coach. Today I want to share my story about how Kriveda came to be and the journey that led me here. I always believe that every practice, every brand, every company has a story to share. And my story is one that changed how I see health, healing, and my purpose. So let's go back to 2018. I was 26 years old, living in New York City, hustling, working hard, when all of a sudden I started getting migraines. Not a headache, a migraine. And for those of you who have ever had a migraine, you know the difference. Migraines are debilitating. They can cause nausea, sensitivity to light, to sound. It's just the worst. And I realized my migraines were also getting worse. And I thought I really need to go see a neurologist. So I booked an appointment with the neurologist, and he ran some tests, and he said to me, "Your cholesterol's a little bit high. Have you been eating too many French fries?" And that was it. Didn't answer any of my questions, and literally made me feel so humiliated. And I was thinking to myself, how can someone say that to someone who I just described all the pain that I was going through? And to completely disregard that, it was really a truly awful experience as a patient. And the first time I really started to realize how broken our health system can be. So I took matters into my own hands. I started acupuncture, and I started looking up Ayurvedic and homeopathic remedies. My grandmother was a huge believer in Ayurveda and homeopathic remedies. And when I used to go visit her in India, she would teach me these things. But it really wasn't until later in my life, when I was starting experiencing health issues, that those remedies really started making sense to me. And guess what? It actually worked. I started to feel like myself again. Now, I wasn't 100% myself, and I couldn't quite figure out why that was, but I figured that was a problem for another day. And that day arrived. In August of 2019, everything changed. I was driving to work just like any other day, when suddenly I realized I couldn't see from my left side. I'm talking full vision loss. I was trying to switch lanes, I remember, and I just couldn't see. My whole left peripheral vision was gone. And I was rubbing my eyes, and I was trying to fix my contact lenses to see if anything was gonna change, and it was getting worse. So when I got to work, I remember my coworker and I are like looking up symptoms, trying to figure out what is going on, and neither of us could figure it out. So I booked an appointment with my ophthalmologist, and he ran some tests, and he looks at me and he says, "You should go to the ER today and get an MRI. I think you may have a brain tumor." So I get to the ER, and I have my first MRI, which was a nerve-wracking experience. And I remember being in the hospital for hours waiting for the results. And it was almost midnight at this point when finally the PA came in and told my dad and I to come in so he could share the results. And I kid you not, this man looked at me and said, "You have a huge brain tumor, and it's too late." What? I look at him, he looks at my dad looks at me, total disbelief. And he continues on and he says, "We need to get you to Johns Hopkins tonight for an emergency brain surgery." Now I am hysterical. I mean, I genuinely cannot even describe the emotion that I was feeling at that point. And I remember my dad calls my mom and my brother and tells them, "We have to get to Hopkins tonight." And I don't even remember the ambulance ride from the ER to Hopkins. But what I do remember is texting my really close family and friends that I'm going into an emergency brain surgery tonight. And in case I don't come out alive, I love you. And that is a hard text message to send somebody. And I remember we get to Hopkins and they start running tests on me. And they asked me, "What medication have you taken in the last 24 hours or over the course of the week?" So I told them that I've been taking Excedrin for my migraine for the last week. And just like that, my surgery was canceled. So they just kept me in the hospital overnight for observation and told me that the next day I would be meeting with some doctors. So in the morning, I met my neurosurgeon, a man I will forever be grateful for. He told me that I had a pituitary adenoma, which is a tumor on your pituitary gland. And he did say, yes, it is huge. It was the size of a baseball, but it wasn't too late. And a few weeks later, my surgery was scheduled. And the morning of my surgery, I get a call from my insurance company telling me that they were not approving my surgery because they thought it was an elective surgery. And I remember thinking, how can a brain surgery be considered an elective surgery? Like, who would want this? And I remember I was already getting prepped for surgery. I was in my hospital gown, an IV in my arm. And so now, on top of being scared of going into a brain surgery, I also didn't know how I was going to pay for it, even if I did have surgery. And I remember it was just such a helpless experience to not know if you're going to be able to afford a surgery that you're already getting prepped for. And again, it just highlighted, how I thought our healthcare system is broken. Luckily for me, I was approved for my surgery in the nick of time. And so on Friday the 13th, an unlucky day for some, but a lucky day for me, I was able to have my surgery, and it was successful. However, they did have to leave some of the tumor because it was really close to my nerves and they didn't want to damage my nerves. But other than that, it was a very successful surgery. And I realized that all the issues that I was having, my migraines, my weight, the hormonal issues, were all connected to this. So it wasn't the French fries after all. It was a brain tumor. So fast forward to 2021, during a routine MRI, they found that the remaining tumor has started growing again. So in January of 2022, I had my second brain surgery, but this time they were able to get all of the tumor out. It's hard to describe how a situation like that can change your life. And I know it sounds corny, but it really does change your life. And for me, it really made me think about what I actually want to do with my life and how I want to lean in to Ayurveda, which helped me personally in my own life. It led me to pursue my master's in integrative health and get my certification in Ayurvedic wellness practices and become a national board certified health and wellness coach, and ultimately create Kriveda, a space where others can also find healing and connection in their own health and wellness journey. And Kriveda isn't about replacing doctors or choosing one path over another. It's about blending the best of both worlds, modern medicine and ancient wisdom. It's about patient advocacy, empowerment, and giving people tools to understand their bodies, because no one understands your body better than you. And because wellness isn't a one-size-fits-all. It's personal, it's layered, it's sacred. My story has a happy ending, and I'm so grateful for that. But I really hope it also serves as a reminder that your health is everything, and that it deserves your attention, your care, and your curiosity. Thank you so much for listening to my story and for being part of this journey. Take care of yourself.